Hi, I'm Kris.
Hi, I'm Jeannine, and welcome to the Blue Fiber Tree. It is our bi-monthly video that we do on our YouTube channel, and we would appreciate it if you would like and share this with your friends.
Subscribe if you haven't.
Absolutely. So today's all about macrame, but first, before we get started, we're going to talk about the May calendar.
Yes.
Because it's loaded.
There's so much stuff going on in May.
But nothing for 2 weeks. It is awesome. I looked at my schedule. I'm like, I have nothing scheduled for 2 weeks. So starting on May 14th, we have rigid heddle weaving from 10 to 3.
Okay.
And there's a spinning technique. The Ply Techniques is on that same day from 11 to 2. We have a beginner's macrame class on the 18th from 4 to 8.
Fun stuff.
Fun stuff. We have a beginner spinning workshop scheduled for May 19th from 5 to 8, with the second session being on June 1st. We have the third Saturday of the month is our Western Reserve Lace Society group gathering that we do from 10 to 1. On the 25th, we have basic needle felting from 5 to 8. And then get ready. The store will be closed from May 27th through May 30th. The reason being, Friday the 27th is setup day for Great Lakes Fiber Show in Worcester.
We're going to be so tired.
The 28th and 29th are the dates for the show, which is the Saturday and Sunday. And the 30th is Memorial Day, where we get to recoup, put the store back together, and be ready to open on May 31st.
Absolutely.
We both have booths.
We
are both in Building 11. I'm in my usual 18,
I have
19.
no idea what my booth number is.
31.
Oh, how do you know?
Because it's on the thingy.
Well, I didn't know to look on the thingy. So wherever booth 31 is,
in Building 11,
come see me. It's my first time at Great Lakes, except for my little intro last year at Jeannine's booth.
That's right. She's going to have her own. So all her stuff is going to be in her booth.
It'll be a little different than for those of you that saw me at Wild and Woolly.
Yes.
Because at Wild and Woolly, I was all dyed yarns and fibers and bare yarns and bare wool and art yarn. I will still have all of my dyed yarns and my dyed rovings. So a few yarn bowls, but I will also have some finished works there. Some of my tapestries and wall hangings and my macrame things.
Some shawls.
Some of my shawls will also be there, my art yarn shawls. So it's going to have a little bit more than what I had at Wild and Woolly. So it'll be really fun to get everybody's take on
her
my stuff.
Yes, so you can preview some of those items up on her website where she sells the finished items. Yes. So probably be looking, because she's going to probably add more, but on her Facebook page she'll have more pictures of things that will be featured at the show.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
I'm so excited. The other part I'm excited about Great Lakes.
Yeah.
It's the Skein Competition.
Oh.
It's for those of you that spin, go to Great Lakes. Go to their website, go to their Facebook page, get the link. Go find out about the Skein Competition. There's like 4 or 5 different categories that you can enter. And it's all from novice newbie people who have only been spinning a year.
Yep. You
can enter your yarns all the way through all crazy stuff, and then also art yarn.
And different weights of yarn. You can do lace weight, you can do worsted, sport, DK. As she said, art yarn. It's one of those things where they're not looking for the most perfectly spun yarn. They're looking for a lot of other things too.
They're looking for a lot of technique.
2-year champ.
Yes.
2-year grand champion. So are we going for a third?
I am going for a third. I am going for a third. However, Tony Jody is entering the art yarn competition, and she goes, well, I don't expect to win because I'm going against you. And I was like, girl, I actually hope you win. I would love to see success for her. I think that would be a lot of fun. But you bet I'm going to spin some cool stuff. I may enter more than just my normal category. Yeah, you can have one entry into every category if you want. Yeah, absolutely. So it doesn't matter. A lot of fun. I think I didn't look yet this year. Normally it's $3 for each entry. And then that's nothing. You get your little ribbons if you win. Yeah. And it's awesome.
So a
So,
lot of fun. So we're going to get started with,
yes.
we have recently started our beginners macrame workshops. She's got one under her belt, and
By the time you see this, I'll have 2 more under my belt.
3.
3?
Mm-hmm. 3. Well, you have a private class.
Oh, I forgot about that. Let's hope I remember on the day I'm supposed to do the private class.
I'll remind you.
It's been a lot of fun teaching macrame. For those of you that think of macrame and think of 1970s grandma's living room exploded with macrame, it's really changed
It has.
through the years. Macrame really first kind of came around 13th century Arabs. Sailors are actually who kind of brought macrame around the world because they would travel and macrame was used to just do the fishing nets.
Macrame is just knots.
It's just knots.
It's knots.
It sounds silly, but it's just knots. And then, you know, as sailors get bored and they're on these ships and they're making nets, some of them got into what they called their fancy work, which is where a lot of the designs with macrame and the newer knots came from. And then probably right around, what are we, we're 2022, so right around like 2018, 2019, macrame started taking on a whole new shabby chic contemporary feel. And the minute that shabby chic living room and dining room that everybody started creating with all their grays and their whites, as soon as that took over, macrame re-exploded. And then also with our boho crowd, our little hippie 20-somethings that are out there. My niece is one of them. She's getting married in October, and she was like, Aunt Kissa, I need you to make me. And the list is just progressing because I think there's the drape that I'm making. Then there's these holders for the flowers. Yeah. So macrame's really taken on a lot more fun because honestly, back in the 80s or 90s, I probably wouldn't have even been interested in doing it because I still thought of my grandma's living room. But once I got exposed to everything here in Jeannine's shop and I started weaving, then I saw some macro weaving, which is all macro weaving is a combination of macrame and weaving combined into tapestry work, and wow, your brain just explodes. There's so much to do with it. The first thing that I will tell you is that if you're going to dive down into the rabbit hole of macrame, there are a few very basic tools that you need, and we'll do the tools real quick because they're so quick. It's easy. You need something to measure your cord. Real simple. Tape measure or a little measure like this. Got to measure your cord. And I will be very honest, every pattern you see out there for making a macrame project gives you an estimate of cording that you need. Oh, follow that. Because if you don't, you'll have short cords, and then you're going to try to learn how to add cords, which can get really confusing depending on where you're at in a pattern in a certain knot. But definitely always measure your cords. You need some sort of dowel rod, or where'd it go? Or a ring, or a hoop, or a tree branch. Whatever you are going to make your either wall hanging or plant hanger from, please note, these guys, they can break. Little wooden rings. I found that out on accident, and it didn't break from hanging a plant from it. It literally broke when I went to pull my cord. The whole thing just snapped, and I went, oh, well, that was bunk. So you gotta be careful with these. Some people like the wooden because they're more sustainable. Some people like the metal rings because they're not breaking. So they do have choices, and there are even plastic ones that I have, but I haven't tried anything on the plastic ones yet. You need a macrame brush, which can be as simple as a dog groomer's brush, as long as it's fine pinned. It has to be the soft, fine pins, because if it's the harder ones or the ones with the little knobs on the end of it, like a hairbrush, oh, it's going to get caught in your fringe, and you're going to be untangling that for hours. I do know this for a fact. Combs come in handy. They're not necessary, but they do come in handy. And I have found that one that is a little bit wider is a little better than a fine tooth comb, because I tried a fine tooth comb. and we won't talk about it because it was not a successful experiment. Scissors. I use 2 pair. I have a little pair for snipping little tiny ends. These are not super, super sharp, but they're sharp enough for me to get little pieces. Cutting fringe. You need something that is very sturdy and has a very sharp edge so that your edges on your fringe for whatever you're doing stay nice and even. Rubber bands. I know, you can't see them. There we go. Rubber bands. They're a must for bundling, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways for bundling. And all bundling is in macrame is holding your cords off to a separate area so that you hold these cords over here while you work on these cords. Other tools that come in handy, crochet hook helps when you're trying to sometimes pull cording through or move knots around. There are neat little tools out there that have a crochet on one end and a little point on the other, which comes to my next tool. This is a double point needle used in knitting. These are awesome. When you mess up knots and you have to pull out your work, if you use your fingers and you start pulling out knots, sometimes you can fray your cord as you're working. And the double point really makes a difference getting in between the cordings and pulling that apart. Other than that, I have a rotary tool that I use sometimes for fringing if it's a small enough project that I can lay on my cutting pad. I've only used it a couple times for this, but it did come in handy. This is a felting foam. However, I will tell you, you'll see the thinner macrame boards out there that some people use. I like this because when you're using the T-pins to hold smaller work, these are just simple T-pins, a little long pin with a little T on top.
We use them for blocking.
Thank you.
They're stainless steel.
There you go. So when you're putting T-pins in that little thin macrame board, it's a thinner board. It's a strong board, but it's a thinner board, and they will go through and poke you in the lap. So I like this. It holds my pins really well, and it's a little thicker for safety. So those are the things. So really, if you have those basic tools and one of these 2 things, either blue painter's tape or masking tape, I prefer blue painter's tape, but when all else fails, masking tape will work. It is cheaper to do this. You have to wrap your ends when you're doing macrame because as you're working, your ends will unfray, and I will show you that here in just a minute. But so the tools are minimal and basic. If you're going to get into other work where you're going to mix your weaving and your macrame, well, then you need different things. You need to add
weaving needles.
Thank you. Went straight out of my head. You need to add like weaving needles of some sort to them, and these are from Ashford.
And there's 3 sizes in the pack.
I have 2 with me. There's a middle one that is lost in the depths of my room somewhere because I dropped it.
And what's nice is the larger holes here actually accommodate your cording and your yarns and fibers that you're using to weave.
They're awesome.
Because you're going to be using larger items.
You are. If you get into macro weaving, you're going to be using larger items. And then plain old tapestry needle. Large eye. Because when you're done with the project, there's little pieces that you have to weave in from where you cut. So tools list is very simple. One of the things that I like as an extra, this is just macrame cord and Jeannine, it's like craft cord. Real simple. It is a poly cord, and we're not going to fray on our ends really. I mean, it might a little, but allegedly you can use a lighter and burn the end, so it doesn't do that. But I'm not allowed to touch fire, so I don't burn. I burn things accidentally, including myself. So yeah, so I don't burn my ends. But so the poly cord, you can make projects out of the poly cord. Lots of people do. I don't like using the poly cord for the actual projects I'm making because you can't get your knots as tight as you really would like, and it tends to not have the same texture and look.
Right.
It doesn't get very soft. You cannot make a soft looking project out of these.
We use these for in the beginners macrame workshop. This is your practice cording. So a lot of the items that she has shown you so far either are or will be available in the store. So you don't have to go hopping all over the
all
place
over
to
town.
find them.
Yeah.
And these are things too that you might need to. You don't need them all at once because you're not going to need them all at the same time.
Yeah.
But they're things that you can collect as you go, and then once you have them, you'll have them for future projects.
Yeah.
It's like any tools of the trade.
Yeah. Your tape measure, your tape, and your scissors.
Number one.
You better have those first.
Mm-hmm.
And a tapestry needle of some sort. And if you do any other craft, you have a tapestry needle somewhere. And if not, Jeannine has some really amazing Ashford ones
that are large.
Wide-eyed, and they worked perfect.
And they're
when
metal,
we were doing
not plastic.
when we were doing our class.
Mm-hmm.
And I just use this. I like this because it's reusable. And every time I'm learning a new knot, from the very beginning to now, I practice my new knots on these because I'm not going to waste my expensive cord and mess it up to make these.
Yep.
So polycord's a great thing.
Sure. This one?
Yep. Different types of cording that are out there. There is 3-ply, that far one on the outs. Yep. So this is 3-ply cording. This is 3-ply cotton cording. Also 3-ply cotton cording. Also 3-ply cotton cording. 3 different manufacturers, 3 different feels. Okay, you will learn
and different sizes.
And different sizes. That now, oddly enough, this is like 4.8 millimeters. This is 4, allegedly, but this also is 4, according to their manufacturer, and this is a little bigger than their 4. So
and it's smaller than this one.
Right, right. So 4 millimeters, you would like to say, means 4 millimeters. I don't know. Some people must have different rulers than what I do. But so there's, I'm just serious.
It's the metric system.
None of it looks right. So 3-ply is one of the cords. It is the most common cording used in macrame is the 3-ply. It's really easy for beginners to use. This is single ply cotton cording, and both of these are 4 millimeter. This one is a little smaller, this one a little bigger. Same company, different manufacturer. Like the distributor got these from 2 different places. So they're close, but not all at the same time. So with the singles, this is really difficult product for beginners to use because as you're working with it, it unfrays.
It untwists.
It untwists really, really easy. And if you don't have those ends taped, you're going to end up with a knotty mess by the time you're done. I will say it fringes the most beautifully out of all the projects. Yep. And then the one cording that I don't have with me today, because it didn't arrive like it was supposed to yesterday, is the braided cord. Braided cord is awesome. You're not going to use that for a project that you're going to fringe. It does resemble what your poly cord looks like as far as the weave on the cord, but it's soft. A lot of the cords are kind of squishy. They're awesome, and they can be used for a variety of different things. With Jeannine, the very first class that we do, the Intro to Macrame class, our beginner's macrame, we did, this is the exact same item, just trying to find the right way, just 2 different colors. So this is,
I did this one. This is mine.
Yes, Jeannine did that one. So this is the first project that we did, and it really just incorporates 7 basic knots, and a variation of those knots. In the first class that we do, we learn the 7 knots, and then when you learn the right side and the left side, by the time the class is over, there's about 11 knots that you know. But this is just very basic, very simple, can hang anywhere. It's small, it doesn't take up a lot of room, but it's a nice way to learn your knots.
Right, so with that first class that you're going to take with her, she's going to first use craft cord, show you how to make the knots. Then, during that same workshop, you're going to start this. Some may finish, some may not, but you're going to be down to this part down here, and you can easily finish the rest of it at home. But it's a 4-hour workshop, and you need that extra hour. Most of our workshops are 3 hours long.
You do need, you need that extra.
You need the extra hour.
You do. And there were a couple of people that I came back in and met just so we could get through, you know,
and finish it.
Some of this part. But yeah, so that's the first project we do. The second project that we're going to be doing, it is a mandala, and this is the beginning of it. It is not anywhere near finished, but when this is done, as I don't drop everything, this is going to have like little points that come out kind of like a sunflower all the way around it with a little bit of fringe that sticks out, and it's just a nice simple round wall hanging. You could Pinterest them and see those the round macrame mandalas all day long, and that's what this will be when we're done. We were talking about rubber bands and things like that. So when I talk about bundling, this is what I'm talking about. So when I am not actively working with a section of cord, it's bundled so that I don't have tangled stuff all over the place. No, I don't have any tape on the ends of my stuff yet, because I won't do that until I get my first section on, when I'm really going to be moving a ton of stuff at once. But so this is the beginning of the mandala for the class. That's in June. So you have plenty of time to take the intro before we get to the advanced. The second advanced class will be an owl, which I don't have because I'm reworking it, because it is an advanced class, but the first owl I made was a little too advanced. It would have been like a 3-day workshop, and we'd have had to charge you like $300 for the 3-day workshop, and you'd have been like, Kris, cut it out. So, but those are the first 3 classes that we're going to do. We have some classes that are going to happen over the summer, and then occasionally we'll start working them in every month. Small, probably like 2-hour, hour and a half, 2-hour classes, where we're going to do things like our macrame leaves. Now, this is a good example of the 3-ply cotton cord versus a single ply. So the one that Jeannine's holding, this was done out of 3-ply. And I'm going to lift it like this. This bugger is really thick. Okay?
It is.
It's really thick. It's kind of heavy. Grab that stiff stuff over there.
Oh, this?
Yeah. So this Stiff and Quick is something that Jeannine will have at the store for when we do the class. When you're spraying and you're trying to harden a 3-ply cord and it's that thick, oh my God.
Did you spray? Oh, you did spray it.
I did spray it, and it takes forever. It's because that braided cord is more twisted than the single. It's harder for you to get straight, lay flat. It wants to just keep crinkling up. This is still not straight, and I brushed this for probably 2.5 to 3 hours total.
Well, you figure because it's a 3-ply, you've got more strands that you're dealing with there too.
You do. And then as you're spraying, like you're spraying the top and you're spraying the back, well, that middle section never gets it. And when it's so thick, that middle section wants to like push everything around. So, but these are cute. And a lot of people use these either just to hang on a wall, just like that. Some people actually hang them from their macroweave projects. This one with the single, he hasn't been re-edged. I haven't reshaped him yet, but this was much easier. And it's much thinner compared to the blue.
Much lighter.
Much lighter weight. And you can make these this big, this big. This will let you know how big, because it flops and you're like, oh, I got to cut it down smaller so it doesn't flop and roll. But so that's one of the classes we're going to be doing. We'll also be doing some lanyards and keychains. We're going to be doing bracelets, cat and dog leashes.
Cool.
when we get to the fall, I've got a couple of ornaments that are going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
On that bundling, real quick, I got sidetracked. That's the bundling
With rubber bands.
if you're going to do it with rubber bands instead of the overhand knots. These are just simple overhand knots on that versus bundling. A lot of people work beads into projects. They do wooden beads. These are very simple, big hold beads.
They come in many different colors. And also, you can also do ceramic beads too. It's going to make your project heavier. You just have to watch, because they have some beautiful ceramic beads out there too.
You just have to find some with the large enough holes.
Yep.
I was struggling the other day because I really wanted some ceramic beads for the bracelets.
Yeah. We'll get there.
I know.
We'll
get there. But as far as macrame goes, I mean, it's really it's a very simple thing once you learn your basic knots. At the end of the video, I'm going to do a video on square knots and then what's called a square knot sennet. A square knot sennet is, let's back up. A sennet is any knot that repeats itself vertically. It's a sennet. So you can have a right facing square knot sennet. You can have a right half twisting sennet. It's just stuff. So I will show you.
Sennet just means more than a couple.
More than a couple. So I'll do the square knot. I'll do the square knot sennet. And then I'm also going to show you what's behind us, because the third little section of the video that I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to put braided roving in your wall hanging. It is fun, but it's annoying if nobody ever taught you how to do it the right way. So,
well, before we get there,
yes.
Also know, while she's talking about the short videos, we are going to be separating those out. Yeah. So they have their own little short video segments, so that you don't have to watch to the end, like the knitting one. You don't have to go all the way to the end to see those cast-ons that we did. So we're going to separate those out, and we're going to do them individually. And we're going to start just popping those in every once in a while with different things. Like someone asked me to do bind-offs. Okay, you did the beginning. How do you bind it off? Yeah, valid. I will get there.
Right, and I'll do some spinning videos.
Yep, and I'll do some crochet. Yeah.
So we're going to do a lot of some 5 to 15 minute how-tos for you guys. That'll go in between our bi-monthly videos.
Yes, frequently asked questions.
I like the frequently asked questions. But one of the things the other day, a lady was in here and she was so excited that you talked about the weights of yarn in our knitting video that you didn't want to do.
So, we've got, well, I'm glad I did it though, because it was the basic stuff and they needed to see basic stuff. Here, let me help you.
I'm just going to scoot it forward a little bit.
Yeah, you just cut half of it off because of the table.
Whoops. I didn't know that. I'm learning.
Right there.
We're being guided by our cameraman.
You ready?
Yep. All right. I'm going to check with our cameraman.
Push it back a little bit.
Push it back a little.
Move your one white one.
How's that? We're good? All right. There we go. So, this is called macroweaving, okay? And macroweave combines macrame and all different types of weaving in the projects, okay? You can see there are beads, there are tassels, there are right twisting sennets. We have square knots. We have alternating square knots. All different types of techniques from macrame. We have our clove hitches and more twists. This technique right here, the braid, that is what I'm going to show you. Now, you'll see if you're looking at this section versus right here, you have the braid here again, you have a braid here again. This right here, this is actually not a braid. And I don't know what somebody else's term is for it because I can't find it anywhere. I'm going to call it pebbling because it's what I do. I'm just pulling up pops of fiber through my piece. I am not really braiding because I'm not trying to create a continuous piece that moves through. I just want sections to pop up and pop through. With macro weaving, me particularly, I like to use a bunch of different textures. So I have my cording, I have fabric, I have roving, I have yarn, other roving, I have chenille. I have a lot of different textures in there, and then obviously the beads. But so at some point in the future, I am not sure when, but yes, I will be teaching some macro weaving. Not pieces this big for a macro weaving class, but probably like a nice 2-foot by 2-foot piece, just so that people get the introduction and they learn how to macro weave. It is one of my favorite things to do. And this piece will be at Great Lakes. If anybody would like to buy it. I know. Easy plug.
Yeah, it's her. You know what? It's her first piece.
It's
she
my
fell
first
in love
very
with
big
it, but we're
piece.
like, you got to put it out there. So it's beautiful. She did an awesome job. What is this? Is this a fabric?
That's just
too?
fabric.
It's really awesome.
Yep. Just fabric.
I like the way a lot of it's finished differently.
Yep.
Really cool.
I had a lot of fun doing it. If there's anything specific that you guys would like to see with macrame, leave a comment, leave a note.
Yeah.
We'll be happy to address that. I don't know really what else to say about macrame. Take a look out there on Pinterest and Instagram. There are some absolutely amazing macrameers out there. The things that you'll find, they're so contemporary. They really are. This is not your grandma's macrame anymore.
It's not just plant hangers, and she
No.
did say plant hanger.
Yeah, can do plant hangers.
You can, but those rings can be used for other things too.
They can. They actually can be used for the centers of mandalas because some do 2 rings in mandalas. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed just the basics, learning of the tools, learning what we're going to be doing here in the store.
So the cameraman Bob has been looking at a lot of different macrame stuff in the last couple of days because we sent him on a hunt for tools and stuff.
Oh, that's right.
And he keeps coming across all these beautiful pieces out there. But he's a little, what's the word I'm looking for? He's smitten by lampshades right now that are macrame.
What was that? What he found one for $340 or $412.
Or 12. They're beautiful
for a macrame lampshade. $786. Okay, well I'm in the wrong business. I need to drop hair completely. Sorry, hair people.
So
I'm gonna start making some macrame lampshades.
So
who wants to buy it for $700? Are you in? I'm in. You can buy it from me. I'll make it. Should be easy. Should be easy. Yeah, until you get going and then you go, oh, huh. How do I
need to think about this.
I gotta think about this. Yeah, they had this one of the videos I watched where the lady was like, so I've been asked to make a macrame lampshade, and she had all these rings, but then she also had the ring that has the piece that your light sits in, and she's like, so how does this work? Do I screw it to the lamp and macrame down? Can I macrame across the top? Is the light gonna burn the top? She's like, will somebody please help me? It was the funniest thing. That I love my macrame group. I love them.
You know what you do? You use an LED light bulb. There's no heat. You don't have to worry about it.
Oh, see, I would have thought about that. But yeah, there's so much stuff out there. Much heat. You should go take a look. If you're local, please look at Jeannine's schedule. We'll post it below. Come take one of the classes.
Oh, there's
We have a lot of fun. I make sure that you go home with not just, your instructions for the wall hanging, and they're very detailed, and there's a lot of pictures, but you also have detailed instructions for each knot
Yep.
that we learned in the class, so you have something to refer back to later.
Yep.
I suggest to everybody, as you're taking classes and learning, get a notebook and go, okay, this is for all the knots that I've learned, and then this notebook has all of my patterns that I've learned.
Yep.
Just like you would do if you with your knitting stuff and your
Yep.
crochet stuff.
Yep.
So visit us
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
our websites. We have longtailknits.com, alchemy.com.
Facebook, Longtail Knits. Facebook, Alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
And the Blue,
Blue
Fiber
Fiber
Tree on Facebook,
Instagram.
Instagram, and the YouTube channel.
But I do have to start remembering to post stuff on our Instagram for the Bluetooth. For the Bluetooth.
For the YouTube.
Hey, you got a blooper in the middle of the video because this is not getting edited out. Bluetooth. I haven't had enough Dunkin yet.
For
Shameless
YouTube.
plug for Dunkin.
For YouTube, our
Right.
YouTube channel. So yeah, absolutely. So I hope you guys are enjoying the video so far. Please comment.
Yes.
We need feedback. We need to know that we're
Absolutely.
going in the right direction. So yeah,
We're getting more subscribers, so
We
we can't be
are.
horrible.
we must be doing something right. But like and share, post. We'll let you know. This one is the last or the fourth
Sunday?
fourth Sunday in April. And then, yeah, we haven't even talked about May yet, but I know one of them will be about Great Lakes Fiber Show. So
Yeah.
stay tuned, mark your calendars, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
It will be a lot of
Anything
fun.
else?
I have no idea.
We're good.
My brain just went completely sideways.
Then we
So
need to stop.
it is. All right.
You guys
Have
have
a
a great day.
Wonderful day. And we will see you again in a couple of weeks. Look forward to the extra videos, though,
In
in
between.
between.
Yep.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, guys.